Welcome back to Crafted Camper Co. I am Dan. This is a van that I'm building into a camper. This is the business which I started just 6 months ago, called Crafted Camper Company. I took a massive risk. If it's the first time you're joining, let me catch you up on everything that's been going on, and I'll walk you through exactly what we're doing on the van this week.
I made my own camper van last year. Absolutely loved it. Thought, why not quit my job, move into a new unit, start from the bottom up, teach myself everything that I need to know, including design, electrics, carpentry, plumbing, and build the best camper van possible. You join me this week with the latest iteration of the series. This is a continuous learning process, and so any advice is helpful in the comment section below. But other than that, sit back, enjoy, get yourself a brew, and watch the latest episode.
And so this week you can expect to see the roof all fully installed and looking fantastic, if I do say so myself. The boiler's all going to be put in with the waterworks and all of the plumbing, at least the freshwater side of the plumbing done this week. And a couple bold decisions I think that I've made with regards to the fabric and the different finishes that I'm going to do on the van. So later on, hopefully the post arrives in time, and if you stick around till the end, you'll be able to see the fabric that I'm using for the sofa, which in my personal taste I think looks fantastic. I hope you feel the same. Don't just make cool camper vans, make cool long sleeve t-shirts too. Embroidered on the front, printed on the back. Started the process of boxing in the shoe storage, made out of timber. I'm then going to put a top on it. I'm going to silicone the edges and then paint it. At certain parts of the van, I'm getting to the point where I'm wanting to put like a finishing touch on. One part includes the shelf above the driver's and passenger's seat. So where the old bulkhead comes up and meets the shelf, I've just put a lip on there just to stop items rolling out. Then got the bungees for quick access and obviously keeps it in there. And then I've also put a top bit that finishes the details up there with the roof, and it just rounds it off to be quite a nice shelf area there. From the embroiders, custom headrest. The roof panel on this side is up and on, and then behind the shower exactly the same, so it's really starting to come together quite nicely. On this left hand side I've come up to an unexpected difficulty. First of all, there's the kind of bulbous outjutting there where the end of the door goes. That's relatively easy to cut around, but where these are, I thought I could take off the bolts and then just use an angle grinder to cut them down. That's what holds in the rails for the door, so I'm glad I didn't do that. So instead, I'm going to leave the panel cut to the size that it's on. I'm going to install it against the light like on the other side, but rather than cut it so then it comes flush with here, I'm going to let it curve round and marry to the end of this line, which then covers these and follows the curve of the van. The bottom pillows will be able to come out onto this section here. I'm going to put Velcro across so then it stays in place when you're sleeping. And then the backrest is usually then what falls in to make up the rest of the bed on that side. However, there's not much height to play with here to then fill the entire gap which is required here. And so I'm just playing with the idea of maybe putting some side pillows, so then you can lean against the bathroom wall or against the arm here. As this is all custom, there's no real set plans for any of this. I've got the design on my computer, but that doesn't really account for measurements and so on. I do think in the future I'm going to do away with the van space software that I've got, because although it's good for getting an idea and it's more like a mood board for inspiration rather than a preset cut list of measurements and so on, I think I need to invest in maybe SketchUp or a different CAD software, so then I've got clearer, repeatable designs when it comes to little things like this. So this is a design which I've decided on for the sofa. This includes the bottom part, the backrest, and the two side arms. The material that's going to be covering it will be tacked to a rigid plyboard underneath. Then I can put Velcro across so then it stays on the bed whilst driving, and the backrest and sides. And then when you convert it into a bed, you'll then be able to pull the main sofa forward, the backrest down to there, and then the two side pillows will go to form the entire mattress. I'm going to make all of the pillows here in half, so then if you do need to get to the switchboard or if you need to get under into the inverter, you'll be able to leave the main pillow on top of the bed whilst you lift it up, and it's a lot more easy then to move the backrest and the side pillows with them kind of being in half. They're a bit more easier to move about in what is quite a cramped space if you've got all doors closed and other people in the van. The job that I've been putting off is installing the boiler. It's something which, here it is, something which I've not done before. It's a skill which I'm approaching for the first time. Everything on it should be alright. I know how to do the ducting and how to do the hole inside of the van. Certainly hooking up the gas, the water, should be absolutely fine. And I've run the wires underneath the floor for the 240 volt cables, and you can charge it directly from shore power or from the inverter. And I've run a 12 volt cable as well, more for the onboard electronics, and then onto the control panel too. So here's the boiler in its position that's going to be in the garage. I've decided to box it all in, as you don't need to get access to the boiler once you've got the controller plugged into it. And then just going to leave a small hatch, I think, so then you can service it should you need to. The orientation of which I've decided on is to have the air intake and exhaust in the back, which then directly goes out the side of the van. There are 4 separate ducting pipes which come out for the space heater element of the boiler. So these two on this side are going to run out and over and through, which then leaves the 240 volt input coming through the floor there. First I'm going to get all the elements out, set them on the floors. It's not something I've approached before. I'm going to just make sure I've got everything, I know how it all works before then I start drilling holes inside of the van and fixing everything down. First thing that needs to go on is the air intake exhaust. This is a dual pipe, so the exhaust comes through the centre and the air intake is around the edge. That cools and vice versa heats the intake exhaust, which is a smart design. You need to cut an opening in the van which is 83mm in diameter. Don't have a hole saw for that, I do have a metal chewer, and that is exactly 83mm across. Just tacked a little dent there where I've thought to put the hole. Better to have a small dent than a hole in the wrong place in the van. I now need this exhaust air input pipe cut down to 42 centimetres. The 12 volt and the CAN bus. That's now onto this panel. Hot water control, you can turn it off, and then in the settings you can set it to automatically come on, and then you can connect to it via Bluetooth on your phone and do everything from your phone as well, save you getting out of bed in the morning.
Once again, we've got to that point in the video where it's got past 10 minutes. As much as I love making these videos, and I could keep on going all day long, here's a little bit of last footage from last week when I was installing the wastewater tank. We had to use an angle grinder just to cut down the steel lengths, so then I could essentially get that mounted. But it was horrible under there, so I didn't take too much footage. It looks like some out of Stranger Things. Next week, with the fabric arriving and with all of the upholstery that needs doing, I've got some really exciting things to show you. Can't wait for that. Join me then. I look forward to seeing you soon.
And before I forget, the poster's arrived for the sofa fabric. It's quite a bold choice. It's a Scottish fabric. I'm going to dress the back of the sofa with this fabric with brown leather on the seat base. There it is. It's a Harris tweed, wolf tooth, brown, orange and red. I think it looks really nice. I think with the wood up the top, the leather below it, it's like a dark leather. It's a dark leather, faux leather for underneath. I think these two will go really nicely together with all of the different colours and everything that's in the van. Do let me know if you love it or you hate it. Any feedback is appreciated, we'll say. I've made the decision now, so I'm not going back on it, but I'd like to know what you think of it nonetheless.